I'm so glad you made it here. Before you watch this video, click the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you get access and notifications to 3 videos a week on the art and science of ethical influence. I'll appreciate it, and so will many. What do you call your target market? Now, I'm not just talking about avatar. What do you call your target market? Because the way you speak to them really will define if they respond to you. Now, some target markets are called, these are avatar descriptions, they're called a name, okay? And I like alliteration. Coach Carla, Coach Carl. I like to give a picture, right? Like, what do they look like? I like to put it up on the wall, blow it up and put it up on the wall so I always remember I'm writing to them. An age. Now, I don't have to give the exact age. I like to give a range of an age. Seniors are different than millennials, right? So like a tight age range. I like 10 years max. And then a location. Where do they live? What country? Philippines, US, North America? I mean, it does make a difference. But again, what do you call them? What do you call them? I know how you describe them, but what do you call them? Are they clients? Are they customers? Are they students? Are they members? Are they patients? A chiropractor or a medical doctor or a podiatrist or a dentist, he can't call them customers. He calls them patients, or she calls them patients. If you have a membership site, well, the best person I know who used to work with me and for me, and now he has had a meteoric rise over the years, and ran Wishlist Member with his then partner, Tracy Childers. Stu McLaren knows all about building tribes. He would call them members. Now, if you're a member of mine, you're probably part of a Facebook group or my membership site. I call my people either students for the high-end courses I teach, do it yourself, or I call them clients if I'm coaching them or doing the high-end done-for-you work. Now, time-honored direct marketing priority principle is the next thing I want to talk about. And this is something, if you're not familiar with the old direct mail, MAIL years, that goes back hundreds of years, in some cases, thousands of years. The first magazine ad was by Benjamin Franklin in the 1700s, but man, direct mail goes back to the Roman days, most likely, maybe even Babylon. But the time honored, meaning it's been honored over time, direct marketing priority principle. Priority principle is know the difference between what's urgent and important, and do what's important first, okay? There are 3 things to consider in direct marketing where you're getting a direct response. The first priority is the list. Nothing is more important than the list. That's the who, and that's why we're talking about avatar. The second thing is the offer. In other words, that is what you are giving to them, the bonuses, the guarantee, the products involved, right? That's the offer. That's second. And third is copy. And copy could be video, audio, written. That's how you're communicating with them through different media sources. But look what comes first. Everyone agrees, whom I know, the list is number 1. If you're selling meat to vegetarians, that won't work. If you try to raise money for the Republican Party and you're sending them to Democrats, that won't work. At least it won't work to get money. You'll get hate mail most likely, all right? So the key point is always start with your list. Research. And the key is not search, it's research. All great writing is rewriting. That's what Ernest Hemingway did. I think he wrote The Old Man and the Sea 23 times. Okay, not everyone is a Mozart where you write once and that's it. Most people are like Beethoven, who wrote, crossed out stuff, and then finally had a great symphony. So I want you to research. And if you steal from one source, that's called plagiarism. If you borrow from many sources, that's called research, which is what I've done. And you can borrow from me. There are many sources here that you're seeing, and I'm acknowledging them one by one. Here's the final question. What's your next step? What's next to discover to create your avatar? You're looking at a blank page. How do I do it? All right. Here's one next step. You can go back and watch this video training. It's a masterclass. I hope you agree. I hope you agree it's content rich. If you don't, why are you here? Why you keep watching, right? Number 2, if you don't want to keep going back and do it on your own, because it's hard to do it on your own, it's possible, but it's a little harder, then I'm going to give you an opportunity right now. I'm going to make a pitch. Are you ready? This is called a way to make change under my supervision. Is the next step with me is to submit a private mentoring application. Okay. Now, 80% of the people who submit this don't come in. Why? Because they're not the ideal avatar for me. So the first step is for me not to pre-qualify you one-to-one. The first step is for you to pre-qualify yourself by honestly answering questions that are on that application. Okay. Now, if you submit it, and if those answers come up who are ideal for me, I'll say, let's meet privately, one-to-one. If they don't come out, that would be an ideal fit. And don't try to guess what's ideal for me or not. And please don't stretch the truth. Tell the truth. Nothing is as persuasive as the truth. Then I will meet with you. Now, if I don't meet with you, then I can give you some other options in the form of a how-to course or some other free materials that you can get if you don't want to pay. And that's against your morals, or maybe it's just not in your budget. But I'm sure everyone has a budget of $500 or less. Well, whatever your choice is, if you're going to work privately, it's more expensive. If you work publicly with other people, it's less expensive. And if you work on your own, do it yourself, that's the least expensive. But for the application, honestly answer the questions at marketingonline.com/intake. A giant oak tree outside my office probably weighs 10 or 15,000 tons. It's over 100 years old. I picked this up recently from the ground because it dropped from one of the branches of that oak tree. This is how big the oak tree was a few hundred years ago. I would say just over 100 years ago. Now, this is how you start. Tiny. In the very beginning, you were a swimmer. You got in. 40 weeks later, hopefully, you came out head first. If you didn't, your mother will remember you. But everything big starts small. Well, the fastest way to accelerate that is mentorship, guidance, right? Coaching. And I'm offering that for you if you want to go faster. And if you think you can go faster on your own, watch this masterclass again, because you get the replay either on Facebook or through Webinar Jam. And then if you think you qualify and have the budget to get a how-to course where I teach you how to do it on your own without my guidance, then you can do that too. The goal is, what's your next step? You just shut this training and say, okay, that was interesting. Or do you go to the next step? If you've come this far, then I would imagine you want to keep going farther, right? Emotionally, further. Farther is distance. Further is ethereal. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. So whether further or farther, I have no idea. But you do want to take the next step, because movement is life. Nothing happens until something moves, said Albert Einstein. So we started with the magic wand. So that's what you got. Boom. If you want an avatar, and if you want to change the trajectory and the direction that your business is going, start with the avatar, whether or not you work with me. I'm Alex Mandossian, and I hope our paths cross again soon. All good wishes.